everybody, welcome to another episode of Dave's Afterthoughts. We're smack dab in the middle of this coronavirus pandemic, and a lot of us are forced, excuse me, clear my throat. A lot of us are being forced to quarantine ourselves within our house. I mean, it's supposedly the best way to fight the coronavirus. A lot of people want to extend this to like 14 days. Some people want to go a little further because supposedly Donald Trump is, our president is saying that this could go on to August. A lot of people are saying just a couple of weeks. Maybe some people are saying just maybe a month. I don't know. A lot of the major corporations or businesses like the movie theaters, restaurants, basically every place that you can go and like just hang out and have fun or whatever have been closed down, because it's supposedly if you get around a certain amount of people, it's easily spread. This disease is airborne, and it easily jumps into people. There's a lot of speculation that supposedly the government has engineered such a thing to kind of like control us in some way. I saw some videos of people in Italy. It's pretty bad over there. So if this is a made up disease or a hoax or whatever the case may be, it's a pretty darn good one, because there's a lot of people who seem to be suffering big time. And over here in the States, we've had cases. I mean, we have a lot of cases, but not as bad as Italy and China and all these other places. Good news is that supposedly China hasn't had any new cases within the last 3 days. Supposedly they are opening cinematic theaters for people over there to watch movies. I guess they're trying to start some kind of thing. I mean, they've been showing, supposedly from what I understand, the Harry Potter films again. But I don't know. Maybe we're coming to an end to it. Maybe, hopefully, this is the beginning of the end of that epidemic. But yeah, a lot of the major things in New York City, especially, a lot of the major restaurants have been shut down. I mean, these restaurants are somewhat making money because they are doing order deliveries, especially the I forgot the name of the show. I mean, not the show, the theater. It's the Beetle House. The Beetle House. I'm sorry, the Beetle House. It's based on like all of Tim Burton's movies, and is one of the main characters that is presented there when you go eat is Beetlejuice. And you got Jack Skellington, you got Edward Scissorhands. Depending on the day, one of these guys pops out and they perform for you, or whatever the case may be. I've never been there myself. I am actually planning on going over there this year, and being that this is a show, this show is about talking about things that I've been to or things that I've dealt with or whatever the case may be. I thought that maybe I would talk a little bit about New York City, being that a lot of the major shows, like as you can see back here, some of them aren't there, some of them are there, but they have been postponed. A lot of these actors make their money off of that, and they're out of work. A lot of people are out of work. This kind of sucks because a lot of people, hopefully they've saved up enough money to live for the next few weeks. I mean, good thing that there hasn't been a martial law put on and shut down everything, because if they shut down everything, supermarkets, where will we get our food? But yeah, speak no further. I wanted to talk about one of the shows that I saw in New York City. I'm going to be talking about a lot of shows that I've seen in New York City, TV shows, Broadway shows. Kind of bringing a light to this topic, and maybe going back in a nice, softer time, to kind of get off of such subject. But I want to talk about the Slava show that came out. They premiered last year around Christmas time. I remember that I was at home and I had just started this new job, and I was making money, so I wanted to like have a Christmas. I am a big Christmas guy. A lot of people are like, oh, I hate Christmas. No, I love it. I wish it could go on all year round, but unfortunately we can't. That's what makes it so special. When it comes once a year, and then you start seeing all the Christmas trees and even the buying of Christmas presents. A lot of people don't like that. I love it. So there's nothing better than a Christmas in New York. I love going to Christmas around New York. I love to go. I love to go to New York around the Christmas time. The decorations, Rockefeller Center, all that beautiful stuff that is presented all over the place. It just blows me away. And I wanted to go. I mean, I tried to at least see two Broadway shows somehow on when I go to New York to see a show, whatever. And just what happened that I was planning on going to see. I was planning to go see a show. I was trying to go see, I believe it was Aladdin or some case, or something like that, because I was in New York and I had some money. But I didn't want to spend that money right then and there. It was like $70 or something to get inside. So I decided, you know what? Let me plan this out, and I'll come back and I'll see a show. And then all of a sudden, I remember I was on Instagram. I forget what looking up what, but all of a sudden I started seeing commercials for this. It was called the Slava Snow Show, and I made some research on it. I did some research on it, and it turns out that it's a Ukraine show from Russia, obviously, and they tour around the world and stuff. And it's a silent show. It's mainly for kids, but it's very entertaining. It's not. I mean, I guess it's a generational thing, you know, and like it's about like a town, and it's about clowns. And there's this one clown who, I guess he's kind of like a clown that's just learning new things. And there's these other types of clowns that pretty much teach him how to do things. But it's all full of gags and gimmicks. They do a lot of, they don't do dancing, they don't sing. They talk in these awkward, I don't know, languages. Oh my God, it had us laughing so hard. At one point, the actors, when I don't know if you've ever gone to a Broadway show, there's always an intermission somewhere in between the show. There's an intermission where you can get up and go to the bathroom, go get something to eat, or whatever the case may be. They give you like 15 minutes or something like that, and then you come back and you sit down. Within that time perimeter, there's nobody on stage and they're not doing anything. But in this particular show, the 15 minutes starts, and I decided to sit there because I really didn't have to go to the bathroom, or I didn't want to get no snacks or nothing like that. And all of a sudden, I see the actors, or some of the actors, come out and they start doing some kind of like funny little things on stage. Like one of them is sweeping up, and all of a sudden, as he sweeps up all this stuff, he decides to blow it off. Then a couple of other ones come out and everything, and then they start to interact with the audience. They get off the stage and they start they go up to like whoever is there. Just so happened that at the moment it was a bald guy, and they started like literally messing around with his head. A couple of them started walking on the actual tops of the chairs, which was pretty awesome. And I just wish that I was down there to actually experience it firsthand. I bought a mezzanine seat and I was up top, but I was seeing the whole thing and I was recording pieces of it and taking pictures. It's a good thing that they allowed us to snap pictures and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. It was like from beginning to end, a comedic show for all families, people of all families. But it was a lot like a Charlie Chaplin film. It was a silent film, pretty much a silent show. But you get the drift of what's going on, and it doesn't really have to make sense because it's a bunch of clowns. And this show is a hit supposedly around Ukraine and Russia and all the places they've gone. They've pretty much come to town, put their show on, and reap the benefits of it. The show, I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen the trailer of it, where there's this little person standing in this huge wind, almost like a blizzard, shooting out all this confetti that's supposed to be snow. Once you walk into the auditorium, you see there's confetti everywhere. It's impossible to clean. Excuse me, coronavirus. It's impossible to sweep and clean the whole theater per show because it's so much, but they have so much confetti. Throughout the whole show, they're continuously using confetti. At one point, going toward the intermission, about to go into the mission, they released this kind of a spider web, and they cover the whole audience in this, like literally everybody's covered from head to toe in this spider web. And I'm like, oh man, I wish they could do that up here. And all of a sudden I see the clowns go up to the top, and they cover us up top too. It was hilarious. Took it off. Afterwards, the show keeps going on. More little gags and gimmicks making us laugh. It was they find the finale is the humongous fan that blows all the confetti, looking like a blizzard all over the people. It was a spectacular display of just chaos, utter chaos. I was blown away. I couldn't help but just laugh and enjoy myself. I felt like a little kid. And then right at the very beginning, they released these gigantic like brown balls that are obviously, they're like rubber or whatever, filled with something, and they throw them all into the audience. And at that point, everybody starts bouncing the balls up in the air and all that stuff. And it literally goes on for about 10 to 15 minutes. People just playing. That's pretty much the finale of the show. But people are just going nuts, playing with these balls, and they let the kids enjoy themselves pretty much, and adults enjoy themselves and all that stuff. It's like literally maybe 10 balls, 2 humongous ones, a few little ones, and then really small ones, and everybody's just tossing the balls back and forth until finally the balloon balls somehow make their way back on stage, and they stuff them in. They do their curtain call on their and they leave the stage, and then everybody starts to exit the theater. I couldn't be more pleased with the show that I had chosen. Honestly, I try to promote it a little bit on my Dave's Dailies, which is on my Instagram. I wanted people to go see it. I even told friends of mine to go take their family members or their friends or their girlfriends, kids, or whatever the case may be. I don't know if any of them listen, but I tell you that it was one of the most stupendous Broadway performances that I had ever seen. It didn't have to make sense, perfect sense. They didn't have to have a musical. It didn't even have to have a story. Okay, it was just the type of stuff that I like. I'm sorry, I am whatever type of fanatic. I like things that don't necessarily make sense. I like exaggerated comedy. I like when people exaggerate noises. It just could be all over the place. And that I'm artistic. I'm artistic, not autistic. I've acted in the past. I'm not a professional actor per se. I would love to be a professional actor, but unfortunately right now I'm doing stage productions over here at the Utzenhofen Theater, located at the Christ Fellowship Church. I'm actually getting ready for a show that's coming up. Well, right now we had to cancel some of the practices because of the the coronavirus. But in due time, maybe in the summer or something like that, we'll be able to actually perform our show. But I gave this show 2 thumbs up, 5 stars across. It was just so $60 well spent, rarely I when it's a Broadway performance, I say it's bad. This was actually pretty good. I had so much fun. I went by myself, so I usually go to shows or to anything by myself. I don't really have to have somebody with me. In order to wait for somebody to come to be available, to be able to, it's just a headache. And then all of a sudden they have all these different problems that, so to me, it's just like, whatever. I'd rather go by myself, enjoy myself, and then come back on my own terms. But this show was stupendous. A show that New York, I mean, just one of the shows that New York has shown in its Broadway. Actually, this show was actually off Broadway. But it's sad right now that a lot of these Broadway performers are pretty much jobless. And the best we can do is just pray for a quick coronavirus recovery and these people get back into the swing of things, doing their performances and enjoying what they do. Yeah, that's pretty much my whole review on the Slava Snow Show. Obviously, it's not here right now because of the fact that it was a seasonal thing. But it probably will come back next year, and when it does come back, make sure you take advantage of it because it is it's a stupendous show. Yes, a lot of people say that Aladdin was great. A lot of people say that The Lion King is great. A lot of people say so many shows are great. And you know what? That is awesome. But you don't always need to have a musical, or you don't always have to have a storyline to make a good show. There was another show that came out called, what was it? It was a Brazilian show called Força Brutal or Força Bruta or something like that. It was a Brazilian show, and I totally missed that one. I really wanted to watch that one, but maybe one day they'll come back and I'll be able to catch it. But yeah, Slava Snow Show has to come back next Christmas around that time. So make sure you take advantage of it. I will be coming back to speak about a couple of other things that I did this past holiday season. And we're going to speak about other places that I've been in the last couple of years that I went to. I had a trip to Ohio, which I did a couple of things out there in 2017. I'm going to talk about the Comic-Cons that I've been to, the New York City Fan Fair, premieres that I've been to in the past, a couple of years ago, like Shazam, Aquaman, Glass, the stuff that I did while I was over there, so you guys can have a little more content and just know about me. Yeah, you probably seen Aquaman, yeah, you probably seen these movies, but you haven't seen my side of the story of what I did, or what the process that I went to when I went to go see these movies, or whatever the case may be. I also went to a lot of TV. I was part of the audience in a lot of TV shows like The View, Live with Kelly and Ryan, Pyramid with Michael Strahan, GMA with Michael Strahan. I did a lot of these things. So I want to actually tell you guys my experience on a lot of these things. A lot of these things you can't go to now because they're either seasonal or they already happened. But if you're ever interested in like going to being an audience member in one of these shows in New York City, hey, I was there for Late Night with Seth Meyers, and that was such a fun show with a friend of mine. But yeah, these are the type of things that I'm going to be talking about in the upcoming future. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my episode 2 of Dave's Afterthoughts. If you like my video, hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave a message, do something, show me love. And this is my words of wisdom. Please stay home if you can. If you have to go to work, be safe, cover up, put gloves on, I guess, a little ninja mask or whatever the case may be. Yeah, just stay safe because this coronavirus is supposedly running amok on humanity, on the human race. I have to take that my own advice because you got to understand, I'm trapped in this basement all day, so I try to do things to get out, maybe get some soup, whatever the case may be, such as what I did today. But yep, this is Dave telling you Godspeed, take care of yourself, stay warm.